Bangkok is a city of contradictions, where glittering malls stand beside street food stalls and five-star hotels rise over neighborhoods that never sleep. For American tourists, it can feel overwhelming just deciding where to stay. Most travel blogs point you to Sukhumvit, Silom, or the Riverside. They promise the best location, but what does that really mean for your trip? The truth is, not all popular areas are equal, and the hotels within them tell very different stories once you check in. Sukhumvit is often the first stop for Western travelers. Its name appears in guidebooks, Instagram feeds, and countless YouTube reviews. The appeal is obvious: nightlife, shopping malls, and BTS SkyTrain stations within walking distance. For Americans used to long commutes, the convenience feels like a luxury. Step outside a Sukhumvit hotel and you're instantly surrounded by neon lights, street vendors, and the hum of late-night traffic. The energy is contagious, but it comes at a price. Inside, the hotels often look polished in marketing photos. Rooftop pools glisten, lobbies shine with marble, and bars advertise happy hours with skyline views. But once you get to your room, a different story unfolds. Many US travelers are surprised by how small and plain the rooms feel compared to the grand promises online. It's not that they're bad, it's that you're paying for location, and location alone doesn't guarantee atmosphere. One American couple described it as New York prices for a room that felt like a dorm. Others loved the nightlife access but admitted they barely use the hotel beyond sleeping. Sukhumvit hotels often feel transactional. They deliver the basics, but they rarely give you that sense of escape. For some travelers, that's fine. For others, it feels like staying in Bangkok's Times Square. Convenient, exciting, but exhausting. Shift a few kilometers and you arrive in Silom. Once a business hub, it now attracts a mix of tourists looking for something calmer. Silom hotels are surrounded by temples, green parks, and local markets. The rhythm here feels slower, more balanced, and less chaotic than Sukhumvit. American visitors often describe Silom as the middle ground. You can dive into street food adventures by night, then retreat to a quieter hotel afterward. But Silom has its own challenges. Many hotels here trade heavily on location, but lag behind in design and updates. You might find yourself in a hotel with a fantastic address, but rooms that feel stuck in the early 2000s. For US travelers, that contrast can feel jarring. Still, prices are generally better than Sukhumvit or the Riverside. A mid-range Silom hotel may cost less than half of a Riverside resort and still give you easy access to the BTS. That's why repeat travelers often choose Silom. They're not dazzled by hype anymore. They want value and a sense of calm. But if it's your first trip, Silom can feel less exciting. For some Americans, the quieter vibe doesn't match the mental image they had of wild Bangkok. And then there's the Riverside. This is the Bangkok you see in glossy brochures and luxury travel ads. The Chao Phraya River glitters at sunset, boats glide past, and luxury hotels tower like palaces. For Western travelers chasing a dream, this is where fantasy becomes reality. Step into a Riverside hotel and you're treated like royalty. Doormen greet you in traditional uniforms, chandeliers sparkle overhead, and infinity pools stretch toward the horizon. But staying here has its costs, and not just financial ones. The location often means long drives into the city center, with traffic that tests even the most patient tourist. American visitors who booked Riverside stays often describe the views as unforgettable. But many admit they spent more time in taxis than they expected. Meals and drinks also add up quickly. What feels like a bargain in other parts of Bangkok suddenly feels like New York pricing when you're Riverside. Still, the magic is real. For honeymoons, anniversaries, or once-in-a-lifetime trips, Riverside hotels deliver an experience you can't replicate elsewhere. And yet, not every Riverside hotel lives up to the postcard image. Some rely too heavily on the location and let service or upkeep slide. That's the risk of chasing the dream. You pay for beauty, but beauty alone doesn't guarantee comfort. The contrast between Sukhumvit, Silom, and the Riverside highlights the biggest truth about Bangkok hotels. The best area depends entirely on what kind of trip you want. Some want convenience and chaos. Others want calm. and some simply want a view worth remembering. For Americans, this decision is even more important. Long-haul flights mean limited time, so choosing the right area can shape the entire experience. But Bangkok has more to offer than these three well-known zones. Old Town and boutique districts tell a very different story. And those stories might surprise you even more than the city's luxury towers. Beyond Sukhumvit, Silom, and the Riverside, Bangkok's Old Town offers something completely different. This is the Bangkok of temples, history, and winding alleys that feel like another century. Hotels here don't compete with glass towers. Instead, they invite you into restored colonial houses, wooden staircases, and colorful courtyards filled with potted plants. For American travelers used to cookie-cutter hotel chains, Old Town feels like a revelation. It's intimate, cultural, and full of character. One guest compared it to staying in a boutique inn in New Orleans. Every corner tells a story, and every morning feels connected to local life. The downside is amenities. You won't find rooftop infinity pools or full gyms here. Instead, you trade luxury polish for authentic charm. But that trade-off often delights Western travelers. They find the experience more memorable than staying in a high-rise they could have found in any big city. Breakfasts are often home-cooked, with Thai dishes prepared fresh by families who run the hotels. For Americans, that personal touch feels more special than a buffet line. Evening walks take you past glowing temples and quiet riverside piers. It feels less like a tourist hub and more like living inside the heartbeat of Bangkok. Yet Old Town isn't for everyone. Some U.S. visitors find the lack of modern comforts a deal-breaker, especially on longer trips. But those who embrace it often rank it as their favorite part of the city, not because it's the fanciest, but because it feels the most real. And then there are the budget hotels scattered throughout the city. These are the places that surprise you most. For less than $50 a night, you can stumble into spotless rooms, rooftop terraces, and staff who treat you like family. Many U.S. travelers can't believe the value. One American backpacker described it perfectly. "I've stayed in U.S. motels that cost 3 times as much and offered half the comfort." Budget hotels in Bangkok often punch far above their weight. What they lack in prestige, they make up for in sincerity. Of course, there are risks with budget stays. Not every place lives up to its reviews, and location can make or break the experience. But when you find a good one, it's unforgettable. Western travelers often leave reviews full of gratitude, saying the kindness of the staff mattered more than the facilities. So what's the truth about Bangkok's most popular hotel areas? The truth is, there isn't one best, just the best for your style of travel. Sukhumvit offers energy and convenience, but feels generic once you step inside. Silom gives you balance, but sometimes lags behind in design. The Riverside dazzles with beauty, but often frustrates with distance and cost. Old Town charms with authenticity, but keeps its comforts simple. And budget hotels? They remind you that luxury isn't always about money. Sometimes it's about how a place makes you feel. For American tourists, this comparison matters more than you think. You're traveling far, spending precious time, and every choice shapes your memory of the city. If you want excitement and nightlife, stay in Sukhumvit. If you want calm with city access, choose Silom. If you want postcard luxury, book Riverside. But if you crave authenticity, Old Town might win your heart, and if you value human connection, budget stays might surprise you most of all. Bangkok's hotel scene is as diverse as the city itself. Each area has its strengths, weaknesses, and hidden truths. That's why simply following the most popular label can be misleading. What's popular isn't always what's right for yees. For U.S. travelers, the best advice is to decide how you want to experience the city first. Then pick the hotel that matches that vision. Do you want your Bangkok to be neon and busy, quiet and balanced, luxurious and dreamy, or cultural and authentic? Each answer points you to a different part of the city, and each part reveals a different version of Bangkok. So the truth isn't about which area wins. The truth is that Bangkok is too big, too layered, and too complex for one area to define it. Your hotel isn't just a bed, it's the lens through which you'll see the city. Choose carefully, and your Bangkok story will be unforgettable. Choose blindly, and you might leave feeling like you missed what made the city special. For American travelers, that decision is worth more than the room rate. It's the key to unlocking the Bangkok you came to see. And once you've chosen right, the hotel fades into the background. What remains is the story of Bangkok itself, lived fully, remembered vividly, and never mistaken for anywhere else.